They call it the frozen heart of the world, a landmass 3 times the size of France, but home to fewer people than a single football stadium. For centuries, we treated this place as a blank space on the map, a frozen wasteland where nothing survives. But we were wrong. Greenland isn't empty, it's hiding something. Underneath this ice lies a secret that the US military tried to bury 60 years ago. A secret city, nuclear power, and a warning from the past. And now, the ice is melting. The secret is waking up. Welcome to the origin. To understand the secret, you first have to understand the barrier, the Greenland ice sheet. This is not just snow, it is a fortress. The ice here is over 3 kilometers thick. It is so heavy, it actually pushes the island's bedrock down into the Earth's crust. But this fortress is cracking. These turquoise veins are meltwater. They act like a lubricant, speeding up the flow of the ice into the ocean. The fortress is moving, and it is revealing things that were never meant to be seen. We start our journey in Nuuk. It doesn't look like a capital city. There are no highways connecting it to the rest of the world. The only way in is by air. Look at the colours: red, yellow, blue. These weren't chosen for aesthetics, they were chosen for survival. In the blinding white of the Arctic winter, colour is the only way to know where safety begins. It feels modern, but look closer, just offshore. Humpback whales breaching the harbour. The mountains press in against the buildings. This city is just a tiny speck of defiance against a landscape that wants to freeze it. If you look at a map of Greenland, you will notice something missing. There are no roads between cities. None. You cannot drive from one town to another. To visit your neighbour, you have 2 choices. You take a boat, or you take a helicopter. This makes everything expensive. A cucumber can cost $5. Fresh fruit is a luxury. Living here means accepting that you are an island within an island. Disconnected, isolated, and completely at the mercy of the weather. Inside the National Museum, we find proof of the cold's power. These are the Ilulissat mummies, 3 women and a 6-month-old boy. They died 500 years ago, but they were not embalmed by humans. The ice did this. Look at the tattoos on her face. Look at the stitching on the fur. They look like they could wake up today. In Greenland, the past doesn't rot. It waits. And just like these bodies, there are other things waiting in the ice. Things built by modern men. We travel inland to Kangerlussuaq. This is the only road in Greenland that leads directly to the ice sheet, but it wasn't built for tourists. It was built for the Cold War. In the 1950s, this was a secret gateway. The US military realised that Greenland was the most strategic real estate on Earth, the shortest path between Washington and Moscow. Most travellers move through here quickly, never realising what lies beneath the snow. But if you look closely at the landscape, you can see the scars. Rusted metal. Old radar dishes, remnants of an obsession with the end of the world. It was here that the army launched a plan so crazy, it sounds like science fiction. In 1959, the US Army came here with a mission, Project Iceworm. They didn't build on top of the ice, they built inside it. They carved a city deep within the glacier, a hospital, a theatre, a church, all buried under 50 feet of crushing ice. But the real purpose was hidden in the blueprints. They planned a network of 4,000 kilometers of tunnels to hide 600 nuclear missiles. A mobile launch site that the Soviets could never find. They installed a portable nuclear reactor to power it. Men lived down there beneath your feet, waiting for the nuclear winter. But they underestimated the ice. The glacier was moving faster than they thought. The walls began to warp. The ceilings crushed in. By 1966, the base was abandoned. They fled, assuming the snow would bury the toxic waste forever. They thought the ice was a tomb, but the tomb is melting. In 2019, the President of the United States made an offer that sounded like a joke. He wanted to buy Greenland. The world laughed. But the military was not laughing. To the United States, Greenland is not a tourist destination. It is a stationary aircraft carrier. Control this island, and you control the North Atlantic. If Russia or China were to build a base here, they could strike the American heartland in minutes. That is why the US Air Force maintains Thule Air Base here. It is the northernmost US military base on Earth, tracking missiles in the silence of the Arctic. But now in 2026, with Trump back in the White House, the file is back on the desk. And this time, the offer is serious. To the president, Greenland is not a country, it is real estate, and it is the most valuable military asset on the planet. Further north in Ilulissat, we see the engine of this destruction. This is the Iceberg factory. The glacier here moves 40 meters a day. It births monsters. Some of these icebergs are so large they scrape the bottom of the ocean floor. Legend says the iceberg that sank the Titanic was born right here. It is beautiful, but it is a weapon. In Disco Bay, these frozen giants can get stuck, forming a silent maze of ice. fortress-like blocks, jagged spires, strange domes carved by wind and water. It feels like a separate world, ruled by stone and weather. But this isn't the first time the climate has changed the fate of this island. To reach the south, ships face a deadly choice. They can sail around Cape Farewell, where the Atlantic and Arctic Oceans crash together in a permanent storm, or they can take the secret path. This is Prince Christian Sound, a narrow ribbon of water that cuts straight through the mountains. Inside these walls, the ocean fury disappears. It is dead silent. The granite cliffs rise so high that they block out the sun, creating a permanent twilight. It feels like a cathedral built by giants. It is a reminder that the safest place in Greenland is often deep inside the danger. We travel south to Hvalsey. These stone walls are all that remain of the Vikings. In 1408, a wedding was held inside this church. Guests laughed, they drank wine. It is the last written record we have of them. After that day, silence. The Norse settlers vanished. Did the climate turn cold? Did they starve? Or did they just realise that this land did not want them here? The stones don't confirm any one answer. They simply remain standing. They left these stones as a warning. Civilizations here are fragile, and they can disappear overnight. We move to the opposite side of the island, the east coast. This is Scoresby Sund, the largest fjord system on the planet. If Nuuk is the heart of Greenland, then this is its ghost. It is a labyrinth of water and stone, so vast that you could hide an entire navy inside its branches and never be found. Nearby lies Itokotormit, the most remote town in the Western world. There are no neighbours here, no nearby towns to call for help. For 9 months of the year, the ocean here freezes solid, locking the people inside a white prison. They live by the rhythm of the sea ice, hunting, surviving, and waiting for the world to open up again. It is the final frontier, a place where the 20th century never truly arrived, and the 21st century feels like a dream. We travel further north into the shadow of a giant. This is Uamanai, rising 1,170 meters straight out of the ocean, stands a mountain that defies gravity. In the local language, Uamanai translates to heart-shaped, but this is a heart made of cold, unforgiving granite. Below it, a village clings to the rock. Look at how small the houses are. They are huddled together, seeking protection from the wind. Life here is a lesson in resilience. There is no flat ground. There are no roads to the outside world. In the summer, the midnight sun paints this heart in blood-red light for 24 hours a day. It feels like a fantasy world. But make no mistake, this is not a fairy tale. This is a fortress, and the people here are the guardians of the true North. For the people living here, the biggest threat isn't war. It is bankruptcy. Greenland is a self-governing country, but it is not free. Every year, Denmark sends a check for nearly $600 million. They call it the block grant. It pays for the schools, the hospitals, the airports. Without this money, the economy would collapse overnight. This is the paradox of Greenland. They have the spirit of an independent nation, but they have the bank account of a colony. They are rich in pride, but poor in cash. The Vikings left because of the cold, but the modern world is returning because of the heat. We travel to Nuuk. From the air, it looks like a quiet farming village, green fields, sheep grazing on the grass. It looks peaceful. But underneath these green hills lies the reason why superpowers are fighting over this island. Rare earth minerals, uranium, zinc, rubies. Geologists call this place an open-air museum, but to the governments of the world, it is a bank vault. Look at these rocks. This is tugtupite. In the daylight, they look like ordinary stones, but under ultraviolet light, they glow a deep blood red. Under the ice lies enough wealth to power the next century of technology. Batteries for electric cars, components for fighter jets, microchips for phones. This is why the map is turning red. The ice is no longer just a barrier that kills explorers. It is a lock, protecting the greatest treasure in the Arctic. And the lock is melting. We end our journey at the top of the world, Thule. This is the edge of human existence. Here the temperature drops so low that engines freeze, machines fail, technology becomes useless. Only the sled dogs can survive here. Listen to them. Greenland is often called Kangerlussuaq, the land of people. But standing here looking at the endless white horizon, you realize that is a lie. This is not the land of people. This is the land of ice. It holds our history perfectly preserved. It holds the secrets of the Cold War buried deep in its chest, and it holds the key to the future of our oceans. We tried to conquer it with nuclear bases. We tried to settle it with stone churches. We're trying to mine it for its treasure. But in the end, the ice always wins. The only question is, when the ice finally melts, what will it reveal next? Welcome to the origin. The world is full of places that tell us who we really are. And we're just getting started. If you want to explore the hidden corners of this planet, from the deep ice to the dark ocean, join the expedition. Subscribe to Origin Earth, and tell us in the comments, where should we go next?